You can listen to this practice wherever you find yourself today. You can be sitting down or laying down, or even stretching and doing things if that's what you got to do. And hopefully wherever you're at when you listen to this, it will still be helpful to you in some way. So if you would like to listen to this in a still position, you can feel free to just take all the time you need to arrive there. And allow yourself to fidget, adjust, stretch, or move in whatever ways feels good in your bones, muscles, joints. Doing your best to not think or plan the movements at all, but more letting your body move you in the ways that intuitively feel good in your bones, muscles, and joints. Maybe some neck rolls is what feels good for you right now, or some side body bends or torso twists, or some fluid combination of all of that. Not worrying at all about what your movements look like, but coming fully into your sense of feeling and just following those yummy sensations you get when you stretch in certain ways. And at any time, if what feels best to you is stillness, then honoring that need for stillness whenever that feels like what you need. There is no rush whatsoever. You can continue to move throughout this practice whenever you feel the need to. But at any time, if you haven't already, you can make your way into a still position, just feeling that the spine is nice and straight wherever you are. And if you're in a space where you feel safe and would like to, you can allow the eyes to gently close at any time if they aren't already. Mark your arrival into your practice today and into your body today with a full, intentional cleansing breath. Just taking a long and slow inhale in through the nose and watching yourself fill up to every corner and edge of you as you just hold that for a moment once you're full, to really experience that sense of fullness. And without straining as you need to, slowly let all of that go. Exhaling bit by bit. Gently pulling the navel toward the spine at the bottom of your exhale to really push that last bit of stagnant air out of you. As you again pause for a moment to experience that sense of emptiness. And allow your next breath to come as it's needed. And so you can breathe just like this for as many rounds as feels good and helpful for you. Just this exaggeration of the 4 parts of your breath. Not worrying about the length of your inhales, exhales, and pauses on either side, but just letting them be exaggerated, whatever that means for you today. So as the body inhales, taking one more sip of air, even when you think you're full, seeing if you can just get a little bit fuller. And when your first urge to exhale comes, seeing if you can hold off on that for a moment longer. Just staying in that fullness for an extra moment. And as you exhale, exhaling for a moment longer than you might normally. Pushing that last bit of air out of you to truly empty yourself. And again, pausing for a little bit longer than you would normally. Just consciously, intentionally slowing down the process of our breath, the 4 parts of our breath. and therefore slowing down our awareness right along with it, communicating to our nervous system that now is the time to slow down. And at any time, if you haven't already, you can release this guidance over your breath altogether. And step back and up in your mind as you come into that role of the observer or the witness. Into that point of view where you can simply witness the fact that your body is breathing, rather than having any direct influence over the rhythm or depth of the breath. But releasing that voluntary guidance that we just had, and now observing the automatic process. Your breath is the one bodily function that can be either voluntary or automatic. So just letting go of that choice to guide the breath, and instead become the observer of the breath. Just as you would observe waves rolling up along the shoreline. Not doing anything to try to change the size or speed of the waves, but just laying back and watching as they naturally come and go. Reminding yourself that your body breathing is a force of nature, just like any other force of nature out there. And you are capable of simply watching it, even if it's just for a split second. Knowing some days this feels very straightforward and simple, and other days this feels nearly impossible to watch the breath without impacting it at all. So just know that wherever you are today is perfectly fine. And each and every day, each and every moment that you show up for a meditation practice or healing practice of any sort, you will have a different starting point. So just making note of how you are starting your practice today in this moment. Making note of how active the mind feels or how tense the body feels. As we begin to consciously allow both the mind and body to release a bit more into this moment. Allowing your awareness to come into your jaw, into the whole mouth area. First noticing any holding or tension in this area. And then as your body exhales, choosing to let your jaw hang into place. Allowing your tongue to release from the roof of the mouth. And allowing your lips to just simply rest on one another. Just feeling an overall sense of release in the entire mouth. And feeling how that naturally allows your chin to soften a little bit more, along with the nostrils. and allowing that release to naturally spread outward and upward as the cheeks soften a bit more, the muscles in the ears and that upper jaw. And even all the tiny, tiny muscles that are along your lash line that will scrunch up when you squint, even feeling those soften as the corners of your eyes just get a little bit wider, just with this release. Even allowing your eyeballs to rest in their sockets and your gaze to be soft wherever it is you happen to be looking. Whether the eyes are open, closed, and staring into the backs of the eyelids, or maybe peering up into the forehead, or maybe they're rolling all the way back and peering into the skull. Wherever your eyes happen to be looking, just glazing over your vision so that you are seeing everything instead of one particular thing. And allowing that sense to naturally allow your hairline to soften back as your forehead gets wider and deeper. And all the muscles across your eyebrows release even more. So just feeling this sensation in the face that all of the muscles are ungripping from the bones, releasing back into the support of your skin. As you feel a deep sense of trust with your own anatomy. Knowing that when you let go, everything will be held exactly where it needs to be. And you do not need to hold yourself in any particular way right now. There is absolutely nothing that you need to be doing. This is not a doing or thinking process, but this is a process of listening and observing. So feeling how all of that softness we've created in the face will naturally cascade down the rest of the body, down the entire scalp, and even feeling your brain resting in your skull as it all trickles down the back of the neck, the sides of the neck, as the shoulders just become a tiny bit heavier, and you feel the space between the shoulders and the ears get a little bit longer. The arms and hands are all heavy. And noticing where your heart is located in the shape of your skeleton right now. Even with the eyes closed, seeing the shape of your body in the position you've chosen. And noticing where your heart is in relationship to your shoulders. Maybe the shoulders are coming forward slightly in this more protective stance of the heart. Kind of like the heart is curling back into this cave-like form. And if that is the case, you can let some attention come to the very tips of your shoulders, the part of your shoulders that's furthest away from one another. And imagine that there's a string on either side that's gently being pulled in opposite directions as you just feel your collarbones broaden a little bit more. and your heart walks forward out of that cave and rests in this proud position between the upper arms. And keeping this stance with your heart, allowing for a slight tuck of your chin down toward that heart to really allow the full length of the back of your neck. And also allowing a slight tuck of your lower rib cage to really allow for the full length of your spine. And just feeling how we've just cleared that path from the tail of your spine, the very root of your spine, the space in between your sit bones, all the way up through the lower back, the middle back, through the space between the shoulder blades at the back of the heart, all the way up through the back of your neck and through the crown of the head. Just clearing that center channel of energy from the space between the sit bones all the way up through the crown of your head. And maybe even allowing your awareness to travel that space up and down the spinal cord. Letting your awareness act almost like a shower of this energy channel. Maybe as the body inhales, your awareness travels up. And as the body exhales, it travels down. And just trusting that your breath and your presence here will naturally allow anything that does not need to be within you to leave you. And welcoming in any helpful, uplifting energy that you may be needing right now. And allowing your pelvic floor to be wide and long and fully release into whatever surface it is that is supporting you. Taking on that same feeling that you get when you exhale into a hug with someone who you love dearly. Maybe a person, or maybe even an animal. Or maybe even an area in nature. A feeling you get when you exhale and release yourself into the grass or into a lake or the ocean or the sand. Just taking on that energy you have when you allow yourself to be held and you allow yourself to be loved. Even if it's just for a split second. Exhaling into the safety of the earth beneath you and all of that love that is in the world around you. Remembering how when you release yourself, when you fully let go, you will not be crushed and you will not float away, but you will be held exactly where you need to be, with the safety of the earth beneath you and the force of gravity holding you to that earth. And allowing yourself to rest and exhale into that deep and ultimate safety that we all have. And at the same time, noticing if there are other feelings maybe stacked on top of that sense of safety. Maybe you have trouble even feeling safe because there are other situations in your life that take away from your sense of safety or make you feel maybe even like you're in danger. And not pushing those things away. We're not trying to only focus on the ultimate safety and love that we all have. But we're reminding ourselves that that will always be there, even when there are things stacked on top. Maybe situations or people that you interact with that make you feel unsafe in some way. Letting those reminders be there, letting those seeds be planted, and reminding yourself that there will always be a period of time between when we recognize we need to make a change and when we actually have the strength, the power, the resources to make those changes. So just allow yourself to be wherever you are in that process of change. And know that with time and patience and awareness, you have the ability to curate your life in a way that best supports your safety, best supports you and the love and strength that is within you. And this can take a very long time, sometimes. But just know that regardless of where you are in your life journey right now, there is nothing anyone can do that will take away your ultimate deep safety, as well as the love that you have a direct connection to. As you start to bring more and more of your awareness into your heart, really tune in to that steady background beat that has been beating within you throughout every single moment of your life. And remember how this heart beating within you is a pure gift of this life. And that there's nothing in particular you have done to make this heart beat or to earn this beating heart, but it is a pure gift. And this heart is also your own direct line of connection to the source that allows our hearts to beat, whatever you believe that to be. This heart is your direct line of connection to the source that all of life comes from, because it is your own source of life. You are alive, and so you are directly connected to the source that allows us all to be alive. And so you do not need any translator to that source. You do not need anyone else to tell you what to do. And if you ever come across people in your life who try to convince you that they know what's best for you better than what you know, or they know you better than you, or that they have some missing piece that you need in order to feel whole, you can allow all of those things to be red flags and cues for you to turn your attention back inward and really focus in on the connection that you have, the personal connection you have to yourself and to whatever spirit or otherworldly things you believe in. And know that there is nothing anyone can do that will take this away from you. These feelings and your sense of connection will always wax and wane, just like everything in the world does. But it will always be there. And so you never have to give that power away to anyone else. And you can always reclaim that power if you have given it away in the past. This is your life. And you are inside of your body and your mind and your heart. And so nobody will ever know your experience better than you. You are the one who spends every single moment with yourself. And at the end of the day, at the end of our lives, it is us. And so you can allow this life to be a journey of getting to know yourself. And you'll notice how that will naturally allow you to know others even deeper. So you can continue to feel whatever is present within you to feel. And just listen to the following words that are written by young Pueblo in his book, Clarity and Connection. And just allow anything that feels like it resonates with you or feels helpful for you to soak in a little deeper and not worrying about the rest. Letting go does not mean you have given up, and it does not mean that you no longer care. It just means that you are releasing the attachments of the past that get in the way of your happiness and mental clarity. Letting go is the unbinding and disentangling of old behavior patterns that pull you into unnecessary mental tension and worry. When you can be okay with things not having gone a certain way, life begins again. Making peace with the past opens you up to love and adventure and allows you to apply the lessons you've learned with a new calmness. Many of us do not realize how much we are actually suffering until our awareness starts to expand. We do not see that our happiness has a ceiling, created by the sorrows and traumas we've repeatedly suppressed. We do not realize that our reactions to life's difficulties stop us from seeing things clearly and place limits on our ability to produce more creative solutions. We do not understand how powerfully our past grips our present. So much of our internal struggle comes from not embracing change. Tension decreases when we understand that change is happening at every level, from the atomic to the biological to the mental. A human being is composed of moving parts, and our identity is no different. It is a dynamic phenomena, similar to a river. Flowing, moving, expanding, roaring, and weaving, all the time with power and all the time with potential to change. Do not limit yourself to a static understanding of who you are. Release your conditioned boundaries and be free. May all of the times that someone has made an incorrect assumption about you activate a new sense of humility and patience in your mind that stops you from doing the same thing to another person in the future. So you can take the next few moments to just allow every single word you've heard today to settle. And trust that anything you've heard that really resonated or struck a chord with you or felt helpful in some way, trusting that those feelings can sometimes come when we hear on the outside what a part of us already knows to be true on the inside. And so allowing those truths to be enhanced within you, so you feel a little bit more confidence to act on your own intuition. Trusting that you already know exactly what it is you need to do, if that is anything at all. And so if it feels like something you'd like to do today, you can just let your hands find each other in a prayer position toward heart center. As you just feel the pulse of your palms into one another, and let your heart lift toward your thumbs and your thumbs to press back toward your heart. As you just tune in once again to all of this power that is generated through you, through this heart. And take a deep, full breath into the body, allowing yourself to fill up to every corner and edge of you. And as you exhale, letting go of anything you're ready to let go of, as you allow the head to gently bow. Just taking this moment to bow to the source of energy that allows all of our hearts to beat, whatever you believe that to be. And bowing to everyone else in this space who has listened and completed this practice right alongside you. And finally bowing to yourself for choosing to show up today and taking the time out of your busy life for this pure act of self-love and self-care. And may this act continue to heal you through the rest of your days and nights, and may you bring the same love and understanding to everything you do and to everyone that you see. Thank you.